Professor Rudolph J. Rummel of the University of Hawaii has done more than anyone to document the brutal history of genocide. In his scholarly books and on his website, he lays out the bloody facts about mass murders perpetrated by governments. According to Professor Rummel, for example, the Soviet Union, under control of the Communist Party, killed nearly 62 million people. Only the People's Republic of China has surpassed the Soviet Union in the field of mass murder. Under Chairman Mao and his successors, the Chinese Communists caused the death of nearly 77 million people, Rummel reports. The Nazis, the standard bearers for evil in the West, pale in comparison to these monstrous numbers. Hitler and his demonic regime managed to extinguish only some 20 million people. Today, however, most people in the United States do not see genocide as a current problem. It is assumed to be something one merely reads about in history. Mass murder on this scale is thought to be a crime once only perpetrated by the brutal societies of a bygone age. More enlightened moderns would never engage in such widespread bloodletting, or so the thinking goes. And yet, since 1973, the United States has managed to nearly equal the Soviet Union in mass murder. In that year, the Supreme Court handed down its decision in Roe v. Wade and decreed abortion to be a fundamental right under the Constitution. In its wake, the murder of unborn children became big business. Between 1973 and 2008, 50 million unborn children were killed according to the pro-abortion Alan Guttmacher Institute. With more than 1 million abortions per year since 2008, the number of aborted children in the U.S. is now edging near to 60 million. You won't find such mention of the outrageous facts of this genocide in the mainstream media, but you will find it in the new book, Abortion Violation, by Reverend Rusty Lee Thomas.
What's wrong with this picture? This is what oppression looks like!
Reverend Thomas has been on the front lines of the battle against abortion for many years. A Christian man of conviction and great faith, he has faced arrest and jail time for his beliefs. His deep involvement in the fight to stop abortion means that readers of Abortion Violation get a correspondingly deep and insightful look at the generational genocide unleashed in 1973. While the book's subject matter is deeply disturbing, it is nonetheless a breath of fresh air as well. As a Christian minister, sound theologian, and a patriotic American citizen, Reverend Thomas is uniquely positioned to explain how the intrinsic value of life is not only the foundation of Christian ethics, but also is the foundation of a free society. Referring to the fundamental core of Christian anthropology, the theological study of the nature of man, he writes, "The theological concept of man, created in the image of God, imago Dei in Latin, originated in the Old Testament and continued throughout church history. No amount of consultation with a doctor or advice from a minister can ever supersede the authority of the Creator as it pertains to the life of his image bearers. In case of abortion, if Caesar, that is, civil government, decriminalizes abortion, Caesar is trespassing upon God's property. Caesar is destroying what belongs to the Lord. America will find she is paying much more than higher taxes as this desecration against God's property persists. Freedom only exists where the right to life is protected and sacred. If at any point in one's life, beginning with conception, the state can condone the killing of innocent people, then there can be no logical opposition to anything the state may do or condone. If the state can end a life, then it can control and dictate any other subsequent aspect of life." Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence, recognized this when he wrote that we are all created equal in having the same fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He and the other founders knew that if government could not be restrained from taking or authorizing the taking of innocent lives, then the power of government would be boundless. It would destroy all the fundamental natural rights granted by God to all mankind. And the founders were right. Today we have the government authorizing infanticide, claiming a right to any amount of our property through taxation, and now dictating through the Affordable Care Act that people must purchase health insurance or else face a stiff fine. In America today, your life is contingent upon the government and those it authorizes and licenses to carry out its whims. In the erstwhile land of the free, liberty is increasingly an illusion. To restore liberty, government has to be pulled back and once more restrained by the Constitution. To do that, the power the government has to authorize the slaying of innocent unborn children must be revoked. Only by reestablishing the inviolability of life can a start be made in protecting the natural rights that are both a consequence of and necessary to the living. Getting informed is the first step to getting involved, and getting informed should start with reading Abortion Violation by Reverend Rusty Lee Thomas. This has been American Daily Herald's 1 Minute for Liberty.